News Radio 97.7 and 1290 AM, WTKS.
It's hard to believe, but with tax season here, there's a phishing scam that you need to be aware of. And on the line with us is Shawn Tuma to tell us more about it. And Shawn is a cybersecurity analyst, and we could certainly use more of them. Hey, Shawn, looks like there's a lot of stuff to keep you busy these days. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well. Well, what's the latest and greatest from the bad guys who always they must sit up nights thinking up this stuff?
You know, they do, and there is a whole lot of money to be made at this, and they're making a whole lot of money at it. And that tells you right there that they're not going to stop until we learn to quit giving them the money.
Well, it's amazing how people can fall for stuff. And believe me, I almost got caught up in one of these things. As much as I tell people, hey, be aware and know that. But this seemed like somebody that I knew well, sounded logical at first, and then it started getting a little out of hand. I said, whoa, hang on a second here. And I called him up. I said, are you doing this? He said, are you kidding? No, heck no. So
confirm, you know, who that person really is, because what we've seen with this scam and many other ones is that the bad guys have learned how to what we call spoof emails. Mm-hmm. So they can make it appear as though it's coming from you to me when it's really not. And in this particular scam, they make it look like it's coming from an organization's high-level executives down to someone in HR or accounting or a low-level clerical person, and they say, typical social engineering fashion, this is an urgent matter. It's secret, so don't tell anybody, but I need you to email all of the W-2s for our workforce. I can send it for an audit or a merger or whatever. And the person complies, and then later learns that they just emailed out the W-2 forms for the whole workforce to someone who was not that executive. Mm-hmm. And the company now has a data breach on their hands, and the employees of the company now have to be worried because the scammers are going to try to use this to intercept their tax refunds.
Unbelievable. Cybersecurity analyst Shawn Tuma with us this morning as tax season approaches. Another phishing scam has begun. And the way I caught on to some of it, Shawn, was when I would get a message from somebody I was already friends with Facebook saying, can I be your friend on Facebook? And another one was like out of the blue. They call me, they send a message saying, hello, how you doing? And I'm like, that's kind of a clue right there.
That's right, and there are a lot of clues, but unfortunately the key to all of this starts with education and training. It's where the real foundation. And companies need to do more of it. We as individuals need to do more of it. And, especially during this tax season, there are any number of scams out there. This is just one example. But during tax season, the scammers love to use the IRS. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they'll call and say, hey, I'm from the IRS. You have a past due balance. Pay it now, or else we're going to foreclose or whatever. And so people need to educate themselves and understand the IRS will not communicate with you in any way other than a letter through the U.S. Postal Service in their initial investigation.
Right.
Don't leave the Facebook message, the text message, the email, or the call or whatever. It's people trying to get your data.
Indeed. Shawn Tuma with us this morning, a cybersecurity analyst over the phishing scam of tax season begins. And we've heard so many of these horror stories, Shawn, of people who are waiting for their refund check and it never comes in. Is there any recourse whatsoever? And they say, well, I didn't get it and I can prove it, and they get reimbursed.
Yeah, you do have to follow the process. You notify the IRS immediately, and with sufficient information to show that it wasn't you who got the refund. And in most cases that I've heard of, they will go through and make it right with you. But it's a long process, and a lot of people are sitting here on pins and needles waiting for that refund check. And a year later doesn't help in some cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so what are the things that people need to be aware of as tax season begins, the main things?
Well, the most important is how the IRS will notify you if you have an issue with them, only through the mail. Second, don't provide your personal information to people. If you do find that your W-2s have been released in this manner as an individual or as a company, you have a data breach. You've got to deal with that in a proper manner. But you've got to notify the IRS of this because they can flag the account. They can flag the company's EIN number to be on the lookout for these sort of scams. And then beyond that, traditional cybersecurity awareness. Good passwords. Don't give away your information. Don't click on phishing emails, which are a huge problem. Mm-hmm. Clicking on links, downloading attachments, things like that. And just understand people lie, and people use the Internet to lie, so don't be so trusting.
Hard to believe. Shawn Tuma, cybersecurity analyst. And Shawn, is that how some of these big companies like Target and others have fallen into this trap, is because an employee got something and inadvertently said, oh, yeah, let me take care of that, and turns out, surprise, surprise.
Absolutely. Almost 90% of the breaches that we hear about, these big data breaches, mm-hmm. people like to think we're talking about James Bond kind of stuff,
yeah.
But it's really simple phishing emails that lead to the vast majority of these.
Mm-hmm. And where can we go?
The initial point.
Right. Yeah. Shawn, where can we go for more information?
The best source is the FTC has a website for cybersecurity awareness in general. It's ftc.gov. The IRS has bulletins up on these IRS scams. That would be irs.gov, and then they'll have links on the pages. Those are really the best places to go for up-to-date information on awareness for this.
Fantastic. Shawn, thank you so much for your time and effort, and I hope that we save somebody some money and a lot of heartaches and troubles.
I hope so as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Shawn. Take care. Shawn Tuma, that is Tuma, and he is it's Shawn, SHAWN, not SEAN. Phishing scams as tax season begins. Be aware. The Internal Revenue Service will never call you. They're pests, and they'll send you mail out the wazoo, and they might come looking for you at some point, but they will never call you on the phone or contact you via email and pay up right away. Ain't going to happen. 947-1290 to talk to us. Pass on any information. Like us on Facebook at newsradiosavannah.com/Facebook.